Janet, Try It Like It, Create It, and today I want to talk to you about making your own washi tape. So this is another in the series of making your own junk journal supplies and adding them to your stash. So this is not a finished project, but it will be a product that you can then now store and use in your paper crafting. So the first one I want to show you is this free printable that I had on my website for washi tape. And I went ahead on Amazon and bought some printable, inkjet printable washi tape pages. And so I just ran this through my printer and now I have washi tape. And to show you that it comes on a clear acetate background, which of course I'm going to save because I can use that for windows in cards and for shakers and so forth. But also to show you, I wanted to see what the material was like itself, and it tears just like washi tape would tear. And it's slightly white, somewhat transparent, and so very similar to if you bought a roll of washi tape. You can now, if I can get it to come out, there we go, you can now print your own. So if we take a look at this piece of washi tape here that's blue, if I look at the other side, you can see that it does have a kind of a white base to it, which is very similar then to the piece I tore off from the full page. I will put a link down below to the product I bought. There may be others out there that you would be interested in purchasing, and that would be great. Just if you wouldn't mind clicking on my Amazon link before you go shopping or searching. That really helps out by giving me a little bit of percentage of your purchase order, and it costs you nothing, and Amazon actually kicks back a bit of change to me, and so over time that adds up and helps out my channel. So this is the first option for making washi tape. Another option is to use double-sided tape and a napkin. And so I have just grabbed a napkin that has a pretty full pattern on it. Now I could run my tape this way and have just the dots, or I could go this way and have a variety of color. Unfortunately, this napkin doesn't print all the way to this side. So I have a limited choice there as to how I want to use my napkin. But I'm going to pull the backing off the napkin. I'm just using a piece of tape to help me do that. And you can save these pieces for cleanup when you're doing wet work. And I believe that this was a single ply. Let me just double check here. Or I should say a double ply. And that there isn't another layer there. Let me just grab a piece of tape again and just double check to see if there's another layer there. So I'll go on the white side just to be safe. And let's see. Yeah, I'm not seeing another layer. All right, so I just needed to pull one layer off. And then what I can do here is two things. I can take my double-sided tape roll and I'm going to measure off a piece. I want to go away from, it has like a pattern in the paper. So I don't know if I want that or not. I don't know that it's going to matter much on this piece. So I'm just going to run this piece like so. And then we'll make a couple of other pieces that look like this. So there's the green and the blue. The red has a little bit of a tear, but I could do like a half and half with the red and the orange, which could be interesting. All right, and so then all I have to do is cut out what I've got going. All right, so I'm just going to now separate these from each other. And you can see how easy it is just to go right along the edge of that double-sided tape. And if your cuts aren't clean, you can just go right back in and clean them up. If you do a piece small enough, you could even use a paper trimmer if you wanted to. Trim along the edge. Alright, so there is my first piece of washi tape. Looks like got a little hair there. Right, and I'm going to go ahead and cut these, and then we'll come back and take a look at them. Remember the napkin back that we pulled off, that one layer? Well, that is the same that we used to make our washi tape with. So what if we take our inks and a pattern stamp and stamp on this? So I'm just going in and doing multiple colors. On my stamp. Trying to line it up a bit. I could just do one color. I don't have to stamp multiple colors. You can see that your stamping doesn't even have to be perfect. All right, so if we let that dry for a second, turn it over, and then we can apply our double stick tape to that as well. All right, so here are the washi tapes that I just made with the napkin, with the stamped napkin. You can see these are wrinkling just a little bit because the ink was a little damp. I did use a heat tool to dry the ink, but here is my sample that I'm going to stick down to show you what this looks like as washi tape. All right. Compared to this piece. And the only thing I see different here really is the size, because of the size of the washi, or size of the double-sided tape I used. You can get double-sided tape in all different sizes. So you can make your washi tape, however thin or however thick you're interested in making. The other thing I thought was that if you wanted to, and I'd probably do it with the inked versions as well, is that if I took some matte Mod Podge here, and I'm just going to apply it with my finger. You could do a brush, depends on, if you care to get messy or not. I'm just going to go over the top of this, and I think then as it dries, and it really is going to dry pretty quick because I'm putting on such a thin coat, as it dries, it's probably going to be even more transparent because it is absorbing, into that tissue layer. And it would be the same as if you were laying down a piece of tissue on top of your paper craft and then putting putting Mod Podge on top of it. So that is another option, and we could do that with the inked versions if we don't want the ink to rub around. And I feel like it kind of was doing that, and so I'm just going to put a light coat. You can see here I've got it on my fingers. I'm just putting a light coat over the top. And it may even blend some of that ink, and I'm okay with that because then it's going to give me a more interesting layer of washi tape. And the dotted versions turned out really nice from that napkin. So I would just suggest, using a napkin that has a pretty dense image to it. Seems to work pretty well. Otherwise, you're going to have, the white background of the napkin show through. But there are those, and I can see that doing it with the Mod Podge, it did smear some of that ink color, and I'm okay with that. Alright, so here are all of the tape versions, and to show you, here's our napkin, here's the store-bought washi, and here is the stamped version that I coated with Mod Podge in matte, and it does kind of even have like a transparent look to the white areas, so that's quite interesting. It's not as stark white as the white of the napkin over here. So flip this over and just show you. Here is our one little strip that we used as a tester, and I did put Mod Podge over that. Here is our green and blue polka dotted one. This is the one that I did half and half with the orange and red dots. And this one is the blue dots. And then our two stamped tape versions. And as I said, this one I did kind of smear some of the ink as I was doing the Mod Podge, and I really liked the look of that because it makes it more translucent. So if I peel this up here, you can see what that looks like with the background not quite as white from the napkin. So yeah, I like the look of this. This does have kind of a texture feel to it. Now I used a heat tool on it, so that might have something to do with it as well. Here is the other one that I stamped. Same technique. I put Mod Podge over the top so that it was more almost, I'm going to call it crystally, because it's not so permanently white looking from the napkin. And I'll just peel this one back and show you what I mean by that. So it is more of a translucent looking washi. And I like the look of that. It's just different. I have the napkin version, and then I have the stamping version, and they're both very different. They're going to give me different looks in my paper crafting. So here is our DIY washi tape. Don't forget about the DIY printable washi tape as well. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I would love to see what you make with it.